He can barely jump, he's never been the fastest player on the court, and yet Nikola Jokic has become the best basketball player on the planet. This is the story of how a kid from Serbia who hated basketball became an NBA champion and one of the most dominant centers the game has ever seen. Nikola Jokic was born in Sombor, Serbia, into a family where money was tight but basketball was everything. His two older brothers played the game, and his father lived and breathed it. But young Nikola? He wanted nothing to do with it. At 10 years old, he was short, overweight, shy, and absolutely hated PE class. When his father signed him up for his first basketball practice, Nikola actually cried. He didn't want to go. But once he started playing point guard, something clicked. Despite being the slowest kid on every court, his coaches noticed something special: this chubby kid could really play. He understood the game in ways other kids didn't. Slowly but surely, Nikola fell in love with basketball. Then at 14, he quit. Not because he didn't like the sport anymore, but because he'd found something he loved even more: horses. Every day after school, Nikola would head to the local stables to clean and feed the animals. It was his escape, his passion. His father had other plans. He convinced Nikola to return to basketball, telling him that if he worked hard enough, maybe one day he could afford his own stable. That promise brought him back to the game. Jokic excelled in youth basketball, catching the attention of Misko Raznatovic, the most powerful basketball agent in Europe. Raznatovic owned a club called Mega, which he used to develop young talent before selling them to bigger teams. He first heard about Jokic through a local newspaper. The kid was averaging 20 points and 20 rebounds per game. Raznatovic assumed he was just more athletic than everyone else, dominating through pure physical advantage. When he discovered that Jokic was actually the least athletic player on the floor and was dominating through skill and basketball IQ alone, he immediately demanded they sign him. Raznatovic signed Jokic without ever watching him play, something he'd never done before or since. It became the best decision of both their lives. At Mega, Jokic dominated the Serbian Youth League, winning MVP honors and leading his team to international success. But there was a serious problem: Nikola was way too heavy to play professional basketball. At 17, he couldn't do a single push-up. He'd get exhausted after one quarter. The coaches put him on strict nutrition plans and killed him in practice to improve his conditioning, but he barely lost any weight. Eventually, they discovered why. Jokic was secretly devouring a high-calorie Serbian pastry called burek, washing it down with up to 3 liters of Coca-Cola every day. Everything changed when his older brother Nemanja returned from playing college basketball in America. Nemanja had seen firsthand how talent could be wasted through bad habits and poor discipline. He pushed Nikola to take basketball seriously, to stop the junk food, and to maximize his incredible potential. The other key figure was Mega's head coach, Dejan Milojevic. He recognized early that Jokic had court vision unlike anyone he'd ever coached. So he gave Nikola complete freedom on the court. In 2013, it was unheard of for a 7-footer to handle the ball like a point guard, but Milojevic let Jokic do exactly that. Jokic's game was playful, almost casual. He'd dish no-look passes like Magic Johnson, handle the ball through traffic, and make decisions that most big men wouldn't even consider. By the 2013-14 season, the conditioning work finally paid off. Jokic averaged 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, showing flashes of brilliance. His agent entered him into the 2014 NBA draft. Despite his talent, NBA executives weren't interested in an unathletic, chubby 18-year-old from Europe. Jokic fell all the way to the 41st pick in the second round, selected by the Denver Nuggets. When his name was called, the NBA broadcast cut to a Taco Bell commercial. Nobody cared about the 41st pick. And honestly, neither did Jokic. It was 5 a.m. in Serbia, and he was sound asleep. Unlike most drafted players, Jokic wasn't rushing to the NBA. He stayed in Serbia for another year, dominating the Adriatic League and winning MVP honors. When he finally came to America for the Summer League, he didn't impress, averaging just 8 points and 6 rebounds. The issue was obvious: despite losing weight at Mega, he still wasn't in NBA shape. Between Summer League and the start of the season, Jokic lost 25 pounds. But playing time was limited because of Jusuf Nurkic, another talented center. The two were friends, but on the court they were competitors blocking each other's minutes. After Jokic's solid rookie season where he made the All-Rookie First Team, Denver made a bold decision: they traded Nurkic and committed to the 41st pick. At the time, it seemed crazy. Looking back, it was genius. In 2017, Jokic averaged 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists while finishing in the top 4 in shooting efficiency. The next year, he got even better: 18, 11, and 6, becoming the NBA's most versatile offensive center. Because he'd started as a point guard, Jokic had no fear of dribbling against faster defenders. He used his big body and technique to protect the ball, rarely turning it over despite making risky passes that would get other centers benched. Unlike players like Draymond Green, who's a good passer for a big man, Jokic is also a lethal scorer. Despite being one of the least vertical players in the NBA, he kills defenders with polished footwork, soft touch, and head fakes that drive them crazy. His arsenal is deadly from everywhere. In the low post, he's unstoppable. Facing up at the top of the key, he's unpredictable, sinking mid-range shots, hitting floaters, backing down defenders, or executing his signature move, the somber shuffle. It's a half step back, half fadeaway that looks awkward and clumsy, like a crooked version of Dirk Nowitzki's one-legged shot. But it's devastatingly effective. Defenders feel helpless watching it drop through the net. What people don't realize is how strong Jokic is. He doesn't look like a typical strong player, but real strength comes from the hips, torso, and legs. Nikola is physically stronger than most centers in the league. Despite his offensive brilliance that made Denver a top 5 offense, their defense was bottom 5, and much of the blame fell on Jokic. His lack of athleticism and poor stamina made him one of the worst defensive centers in the NBA. In 2018, the Nuggets won 46 games but missed the playoffs by 1 game. That off-season, Jokic made a decision: he was going to transform his body. The 2019 season saw a different Nikola. He averaged 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists, made his first All-Star team and first-team All-NBA. He's the only player in the top 10 in scoring and top 20 in both assists and rebounds. He shoots 41% from 3 in the playoffs, better than Curry, Clay, and Ray Allen. He ranks first all-time in playoff player efficiency rating, ahead of Jordan and LeBron. Defensively, he's become elite. In the 2023 Finals, Denver held Miami under 100 points in 4 out of 5 games. Opponents tried attacking Jokic in pick-and-rolls over 40 times per game, but his defense produced just 102 points per 100 possessions, better than elite defenders like Jaren Jackson, Anthony Davis, and Draymond Green. Today, Jokic has signed 2 max contracts and will likely sign a third, making him the highest-paid player in NBA history. But money doesn't motivate him. He married his high school sweetheart, and beyond his family, all he truly cares about is his horses. His father's prophecy came true: Nikola bought his own stable. He races horses in Serbia whenever he can, and those moments make him happier than any MVP award or triple-double. Not bad for a chubby kid who couldn't do a push-up, drank 3 liters of Coke a day, and cried when his dad made him go to basketball practice. Nikola Jokic proved that you don't need to be the fastest or jump the highest. You just need to be the smartest, most skilled, and most relentless. And that's exactly what makes him the best player in the world.